What's going on, guys? 5/11. It's the 28th of October, a Tuesday. It's week 9 of this NFL regular season and a very short turnaround for the Baltimore Ravens. They sit at 2-5. They're going to play the Miami Dolphins at 2-6 on Thursday night at Hard Rock Stadium, of course, in South Florida. And Lamar Jackson will be, barring something unforeseen, QB1 for the first time since the second half when he left with a hamstring injury in Kansas City several weeks ago. Great to have you guys back on with me. The guest lines are open if you'd like to call in and share a thought. I want to talk about a number of things. If you could on the way in, like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, consider becoming a channel member or gift-giving membership if you're interested in doing so. Trade deadline, November 4th is right around the corner. And if the Ravens win on Thursday night, I'd have to think, if you're Eric DeCosta and this Ravens front office, your wheels are going to be churning. They need help, and they need help desperately from a defensive line standpoint, whether that be at the edge or in the interior. So going to use Jeff Zrebiec's latest on The Athletic as a good blueprint for how to have a little exercise in terms of what might be realistic. And when I say what, which players might be realistic and which players may not so much. So that and a whole lot more, including, yes, Lamar confirmed, I stand corrected, that he was the player, the person, the reasoning behind the removal of toys in the locker room within the last couple weeks. So Marlon Humphrey tipped us all off. Lamar confirmed it during his press conference earlier. Yes, that'll be fun tomorrow to have a conversation surrounding that, won't it? Yes, it will be. Okay, with that in mind, let's get off and running, because Calais Campbell is one of the many targets that not only Jeff Zrebiec wrote about in his latest courtesy of The Athletic, but also somebody that's probably under the realistic category, I would say, for the Ravens. And before we get into specific players like the Calaises of the world, Peter Schrager, NFL analyst, NFL reporter, he had this to say. I just feel like these are wise words going into the deadline. It's going to be kind of a he said, she said, a lot of messaging, a lot of reporting, a lot of buzz over the next couple of weeks. But Peter wrote a lesson that he was taught years ago on the NFL trade deadline is as follows. Unlike the NBA and Major League Baseball, viable big names aren't dangling on some imaginary list for weeks in advance. The notable big players that teams are calling on are being told no today. And we know a few of those, the Jeffrey Simmons, Max Crosbys of the world, right? We'll get into it in just a bit. After Sunday, Peter says, it picks up and teams bend. How much will they bend? That remains to be seen. And will the Ravens be on the other end of those calls, attempting to get teams to bend? That remains to be seen. But I think what we all know is true is that this team could use help with its defensive line, and certainly would give the Ravens front office, would they win on Thursday night? It's not needed, but it'll be the necessary motivation to go out and get a guy and perhaps be willing, much like they were in season at the deadline in 2022, to part ways with future draft capital to go get a guy like Roquan Smith that year in 2022, which is a deal they brokered, obviously, with the Chicago Bears, as we recounted last week. So with that in mind, Jeff Zrebiec, who, by the way, I'm sure we'll be able to dive into this more at length tonight on The Collective. We're under 3 hours out from tonight's program. Looking forward to that with Cole, Jeff, and myself. I hope you'll join us on The Collective. But Jeff's latest breaks things down into 3 different categories. And again, this is courtesy of The Athletic. Category number 1, right player, right price. Something that's synonymous with how the Ravens do business. Category number 2, enough of an upgrade. And category number 3, bluntly, keep dreaming. And why don't we start there? Because this is obviously the unrealistic section, if you will. And he defines that as players who are often mentioned in trade rumors but are probably not options for the Ravens. Bradley Chubb in Miami, who the Ravens will see this upcoming Thursday evening. Jeff writes, with 4 sacks this year, Chubb would potentially be a high-impact addition. But 1, there's no indication that he's available. 2, he turns 30 in June and has battled significant injuries over the years. And 3, his cap hit is over $30 million over the next 2 seasons. Max Crosby's player number 2 on the keep dreaming list. Raiders star edge rusher. Jeff writes, there's probably no player in the league who Ravens fans clamor for more, and for good reason. The only problem? The Raiders have made clear over and over again that he's not going anywhere. What about in division? Trey Hendrickson, Cincinnati. Jeff writes, the Bengals don't traditionally sell off players regardless of their record. If they break that trend, they're not about to send their best defensive player and one of the league's best sack artists to a divisional opponent that they'll play twice over the next 7 weeks. What about up in New York? A lot of us have been having chatter and interest around several different key members of the Giants defense. One of them is Dexter Lawrence. Jeff writes, he's another star player whose name seems to get mentioned in trade speculation only because he plays on teams that struggle annually. If Lawrence were actually available, there would be a feeding frenzy. What about Jeff Simmons in Tennessee? He writes, Jeff does. He's one of the best interior players in football, and it's hard to imagine a better fit for the Ravens in terms of a production standpoint. The Titans, though, have made him off limits, according to multiple reports. Not that this means much, but Tennessee hasn't exactly been a willing trade partner of the Ravens in recent years. Now have they? What about Kayvon Thibodeau, also a New York Giant? Jeff writes, there's been a lot of speculation about Thibodeau's future with the Giants after they selected Abdul Carter, 3rd overall in April. By the way, Abdul certainly proving the Giants right as a top 3 pick. This dude, okay, when it comes to edge rusher, that is rookie edge rusher pressure and pressures on non-play action /screen /RPO dropbacks. I'm reading directly from a Brett Coleman tweet. Again, this is rookie edge rusher pressure totals on non-play action, screen, and RPO dropbacks. Abdul Carter has 18 pressures in those scenarios so far through 8 weeks of football. The next closest rookie is Mykel Williams at 7. Mike Green has 3. A ridiculous season for Abdul Carter. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. If he were available, back to Kayvon Thibodeau and Jeff's piece, he'd have to be near the top of Baltimore's wish list. However, Dan Duggan believes it's unlikely the Giants will move him during the season. What about the Jets? All this can change, by the way, if you put together a compelling enough package. Let's be clear. I just don't know if the Ravens will be willing to deviate from what their typical standard practice is when it comes to business. Oh, my God. The Giants worked out Deontay Johnson. You got to be shitting me. So if you've been following along, Eddie Jackson is getting worked out. Marcus Williams was signed to the Chargers practice squad. And now Deontay Johnson is getting worked out by the Giants. You can't make this shit up. Quinnen Williams, also in New York with the Jets. Jeff writes, his play has dipped since he signed a contract extension before the 2023 season. He has 12.5 sacks over the past 3 years. Still, he's a force when he's on his game, and it's not out of the question that the Jets would entertain offers. The Ravens, though, would not only have to absorb his big contract, but they'd probably have to give up a day 1 or day 2 draft pick for starters, something that obviously they do not take very lightly. Logan Wilson, inside linebacker, Cincinnati. He's asked for a trade. That's what he's requested within the last week or so. Jeff writes, inside linebacker is hardly a major need for the Ravens, yet at past trade deadlines, DaCosta has made deals at other positions when there wasn't an obvious fit to fill the team's biggest needs. The Bengals likely have no interest in sending him to Baltimore. So that is your opening category, the first of 3 that fall under Jeff's keep dreaming. What's category number 2? Enough of an upgrade. Jeff defines that as players said to be available, but are they that much better than what the Ravens already have? Well, we'll see. Deonte Banks, cornerback, Giants. Jeff writes, the Ravens can't find snaps for Jair Alexander. And what they mean by that is Jair's been a non-factor. And I think some of that has to do with health, I would think. After what What did he put out on tape week 1? 30% of the snaps. Had his knee drained at the start of training camp. Had a PCL procedure back in January. Anyway, Jeff writes, they're not looking for instant help at corner. The only way adding a corner makes sense is if the Ravens are buying low on an upside player for next year. Banks, a 2023 first-round pick, qualifies. He may need a change of scenery, and the Baltimore native is the type of big and physical cornerback the Ravens target. He'd have to come cheap. Again, this is the enough of an upgrade category for Jeff. And former Raven Matthew Judon ends up on his list. Jeff writes he's now with the Dodgers. Game 3 is on my mind from last night. That was absurd. Judon, healthy scratch a week ago for the Dolphins. Former Raven. Jeff writes, Judon has a lot of friends and support in the Ravens locker room, and he has always been a smart and high-energy player. But he's 33 now, has no sacks, and 1 quarterback hit in 7 games for Miami, and is just a week removed from being a healthy scratch. Arden Key, Tennessee, edge rusher. Jeff writes, if the Ravens are looking for a rotational edge rusher who can move inside on occasion, they could do worse than Key. He's averaged 6 sacks over the past 4 seasons and has 1.5 this year. He'd be more of a depth addition. Baltimore nearly signed him in 2022. So what you're seeing here is somewhat of, a trend reporting. It was not all that long ago prior to last year's deadline that the Ravens were in on Calais Campbell. So Jeff's kind of putting 2 and 2 together and following, again, past behavioral habits from an organizational standpoint. On to Evan Neal, a guard and tackle for the Giants. Jeff writes, picked 7th overall in 2022. Neal has been a colossal disappointment. Despite a shift inside, he hasn't gotten in a game all year. The Ravens traditionally love Alabama players, and Neal obviously has a pedigree. However, if the Giants don't think he's good enough to play, that probably says all you need to know. That brings us to Azeez Ojulari in Philadelphia, edge rusher. DaCosta expressed interest in Ojulari ahead of last year's trade deadline before balking at the Giants' asking price. Ojulari has started 2 games, but he's yet to get his first Eagles sack. He's also dealing with a persistent hamstring issue. I know probably some of you are out there watching and thinking to yourselves, no more players with health setbacks, whether it be through the draft or in free agency, because it's burnt the Ravens, particularly at outside linebacker in recent years, and this season included. And he just lists off a bunch of other players as well that would fit the enough of an upgrade category here. Again, you see some of these names, including Cameron Jordan, who certainly jumps off the page due to his storied career as a New Orleans Saint. They're going nowhere fast in New Orleans. And perhaps that brings us to the most realistic category that Jeff took a look at. Right player, right price. And I would love for you guys to weigh in when you have a chance doing so in the live chat. Who's your player? Who's the realistic player that you're coveting if you're Eric DaCosta in this Ravens front office, should they find a way to win Thursday night in Miami? Right player, right price, Jeff describes as potentially available players who would help the Ravens at a position of need and probably wouldn't carry a prohibitive asking price. And look who's first on his list. Former Raven Calais Campbell, who I mentioned right off the top. He is now in Arizona. He is a Cardinal. And Jeff writes, talk of a Ravens reunion with the venerable Campbell has become an annual rite of the football season. Baltimore nearly acquired him before last year's trade deadline, but the Dolphins balked. The Ravens were interested in signing him this offseason, but the Cardinals gave him good money and a chance to finish his career where it started. With 3 sacks and 9 quarterback hits, the 39-year-old is having another solid season. What a shocker. Calais, the consummate professional. He'd help the Ravens in several areas. The Cardinals, though, have not indicated that they intend to be sellers, and it's not certain that Campbell wants to be anywhere else in what could be his last NFL season. Calais Campbell, soon to be 40. One of the former Ravens that Jeff Zaribek is putting at the top of his list in terms of potential candidates. My friend Cole Jackson, co-host of mine on The Collective, coming up in 2.5 hours' time, totaled up a few of his numbers and went deep. 17 pressures, 3 sacks on 159 pass rush snaps for Calais in Arizona. Cole writes, for reference, that would lead the Ravens' pressure numbers by 4. Travis Jones has 13. And sacks by 1. Both Tavius and Nnamdi, who both are not active right now, obviously. Nnamdi's done for the year. Tavius has a broken foot. Both of those guys had 2 sacks in the time that they had prior to going down. He's like, it would cost a late pick. That's what Cole thinks. Day 3 pick. Just saying. And Jeff, of course, said it as well. Back to his piece we go. Would you guys be open to the idea of a reunion with Calais Campbell? Certainly couldn't hurt. Future Hall of Famer, still playing at a high level. Ravens need all the help they can get up front. And he's always stout against the run. That's what the Ravens need moving forward, particularly when it comes to AFC North play. They have 5 more games in those contests, having only played Cleveland week 2. Next up on Jeff's list. Again, this is the category of right player, right price. He's got a couple of them, and they're New York Jets. Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald IV. Jeff writes, the Jets are 1-7 and have a first-year head coach and GM, so there might as well be a for sale sign outside the entrance to the locker room. First-round picks in back-to-back years, Johnson and McDonald are 2 pass rushers who should intrigue teams. Johnson has battled injuries and has just 1 sack this year, but he's an impactful player when healthy. Maybe he gets the change of scenery that Odafe Oweh got and ends up enjoying it. McDonald, meaning Will, had 10.5 sacks last season and has 3 so far this year. Both are in their mid-20s, under contract for 1 more year, and won't come cheap as veteran rentals. Okay, could get behind either or. What about Jalen Phillips? Ravens are going to see him coming up on Thursday night. Edge rusher, Miami. Jeff writes, the Ravens liked Phillips coming out of the 2021 draft, but the Dolphins selected him 9 spots before Baltimore was on the clock. Injuries have slowed Phillips in a big way, and his sack total has declined just about every year since he had 8.5 as a rookie. He has 2 sacks in 8 games this season. However, he's talented and is a pending free agent on a team that could be headed for major offseason changes. The cost probably wouldn't be prohibitive. Oh, and look who rounds out the list of, again, the category that is right player, right price. Another former Raven, Kevin Zeitler. He's in Tennessee. And Jeff writes, even struggling teams don't traditionally trade quality offensive linemen because they still want to protect their quarterback and have a functional offense. In other words, there's no guarantee that 35-year-old Zeitler is even available, but it would be a cool story for the Ravens to bring back a popular and productive player from their recent past. Zeitler would represent a significant upgrade too, and it certainly does not take a rocket scientist to agree on that side of things. So there you have it. Jeff Zrebiec, 3 different categories. Perhaps we'll get into more coming up tonight, if not next week. On top of that, but 2 former Ravens make their way onto his right player, right price exercise under the category of, realistic. And one thing the Ravens have not done is successfully fill the void that Kevin Zeitler left behind when they let him walk in free agency off to Detroit several years ago at the right guard position. And if you want to go all the way back to Marshall Yanda, they've really had a hard time, as most teams would, filling the shoes left behind by a future Hall of Famer, which absolutely is Marshall Yanda. Kevin Zeitler is durable. He is tough. He is good in the ground game. He's a pass-protecting, mauling savage in the Ravens trenches, in any NFL trenches. I think it would really be wise to pick up the phone. Got to have a willing partner on the other end, but a good exercise nonetheless by Jeff Zrebiec as we creep closer and closer 1 week from today at 4 o'clock Eastern as the deadline approaches. November 4th, 4 p.m. Eastern. Ravens got to go take care of business first and foremost on Thursday night. to put their general manager and front office in a position to go get after it. Let's talk about Kyle Hamilton in just a second here, because I love the usage conversation. I love the alignment. I love this universal understanding that Kyle Hamilton is indeed a unicorn. The guest lines are open if you want to share a thought regarding the upcoming deadline as well. The link to call in is included in the live chat as a pinned comment at the moment. But first, I want to say thanks to MyBookie for the continued support. College football has been cooking. Upsets, blowouts, wild covers, coaching firings. How about Brian Kelly this week? I have gotten down the rabbit hole of following that saga. He is out at LSU 4 years into a 10-year contract, and the buyout is steep. Hence why there's some silent investors, I don't even know what you want to call them, that are dumping money anonymously to cover that buyout. That's at least the latest reports in Baton Rouge. Game lines, player props, and more. Everything you need before the pros even kick off on Sundays, so that when the end of the weekend's rolling around, you're already up. MyBookie's got it all under one roof. You can win big on the NFL Super Contest and Survivor pools. And if you're new, hop over to MyBookie. Use my code BobbyB. That's BOBBYB. And any bet you choose up to $500 is fully covered. You can make your play, and if it doesn't hit, you get it right back when you opt in using your bet back bonus token. Again, that is BobbyB, code BobbyB. And any bet you choose up to $500 is fully covered. 1-800-GAMBLER if you're struggling. That's 1-800-522-4700. Please gamble responsibly. I appreciate you guys. All right, on to the DaCosta chatter. I shouldn't say DaCosta chatter. Excuse me. Kyle Hamilton chatter. I liked what Mina Kimes had to say on NFL Live yesterday about what's went right over the last couple weeks. The Alohi Gilman acquisition, first and foremost, is at the top of mind, knowing they brought him in on the other end, of course, of the Odafe Owe trade. But Alohi has freed up Kyle Hamilton to impact the line of scrimmage, to impact in coverage, to impact from a blitzing standpoint. The space that he covers is exceptional. He's got that wide, rangy ability as a former basketball player to affect sight lines, to affect clogging up holes. He's exceptional. And it's universally known throughout the NFL community. Listen to Mina Kimes.
Been the big nickel in particular, which is 3 safeties on the field, and a lot of it was triggered by the trade for Alohi Gilman. When that happened, we were wondering, like, what's the vision? And I realize now, watching them the last couple of weeks, this is probably what they envisioned before Ardarius Washington got hurt, and they drafted Malachi Starks, which is Kyle Hamilton affecting the ball closer to the quarterback. Look at these splits before and after the bye. So before the trade, Kyle Hamilton was almost entirely playing free safety for them by necessity. Since then, they've been able to play him at slot, where frankly he's best, but also on the defensive line, closer to the line of scrimmage. He's constantly threatening as a blitzer. Sometimes he doesn't come, but then when he comes, it affects the quarterback, and then he starts worrying about him. I think this is really meaningful for them going forward. I'm not going to say this defense is what I thought it was going to be necessarily, but as guys have gotten healthy, and as you've seen the sort of trickle-down effects of this trade, I do think that they have addressed things on the back end.
Let's cut back to that graphic for a second. That was courtesy of NFL Live, ESPN yesterday. Here it is, the pre-snap position averages before and after the Alohi Gilman trade. And remember, this is the exact opposite of what they needed from Kyle last year. Last year, we know what he was up to. And we know what happened when Ardarius Washington came in for a benched Marcus Williams and they cut Eddie Jackson. It's the exact opposite in terms of usage. So before, again, this is pre-snap position averages on a day-to-day, game-to-game basis. Defensive line, 5.3 snaps per game. Pre-Alohi acquisition. Linebacker and box safety, 6.8 snaps. Slot corner, 6 snaps. High safety, 49.5 snaps. That's where he handled the bulk of his workload. Okay? This is all next-gen stats, by the way. After, it's night and day. Look at this. High safety plummets to a half snap. This is 2-game sample size, just to be clear. But you see the night and day change here. And I don't think it's hyperbole to say that, look, there's a direct correlation between the way this defense executes, the way this defense aligns, the way this defense bends, but ultimately doesn't break when Kyle Hamilton is used at this chess piece type of weapon that Zach Orr's been deploying him to be over the last couple of weeks since this acquisition. And I think this is a good opportunity to kind of revisit just how big of a loss our Darius Washington was. If you go back into the summer prior to training camp, when that news came down about his Achilles tear in a conditioning session, you thought to yourself, well, that's why they drafted Malachi Starks in the first round. But the harsh reality is that while Malachi has put plenty of good out there on tape, he's also shown some deficiencies. He's also still processing the game, as a lot of rookies are at this point in their early tenure. And he's drinking from the fire hose. Yes, it's a crutch phase. Deal with it. And by the way, Chef Trez, if you want to chime in with my crutch phrases, at least give me examples of what could be alternatives. Because I'm like that. I get like sponge-like. So you give me an alternative, I'll start making that my new crutch phrase. Shit, then you're going to want me to go back to the alternative. And then the alternative, and then the alternative. Anyway, long story short, it's really exciting that this is paying early dividends. But as I continue to say on the vault, show me this is sustainable. Show me that on paper, you can go prove the on paper folks right. You prove them right. You can go on this run over the next 5 weeks or so because everything's right in front of them. But until I see it sustained, until I see complementary football with ball security and the ability to take the football away and polish and alignment and discipline. We've seen a lot of that over the last couple of weeks. Can they keep stacking? Over 370 yards to that Bears team. That's not going to fly down the stretch, particularly when it comes to AFC North play. You got to stop the run. Find a way to win on Thursday night. Bring in another guy. Get Carl Lawson going. See what he has left in the tank. Spent last year in Dallas, 5 sacks over 15 games. You need something from Ajabo. Not sure you're going to get it. Mike Green, he'll continue to develop. Kyle Van Noy's got to stay healthy. Travis Jones, continue that interior push the way he gives them on a weekly basis. Dude gets double teamed like it's his job. We don't talk about that enough. Travis Jones is a beast. He's an all-out beast. Listen to Chris Long totally gush over Kyle Hamilton.
Hamilton picking Joe Thuney on third down.
Yep.
And then
dude, he's in the box. He's looking like Dante Hightower out there, man.
And he should be in the
You know what
box.
I'm talking about?
So
He should be in the box.
Yeah.
So we kind of hypothesized.
He was pass rushing. He had 2 pressures.
He's a beast.
Yeah, he did a good job in the pass rush. We hypothesized that with the Gilman trade, he would be kind of become more of that like in the box weapon for them. 20 snaps on ball, 18 in the box, 25 in the slot. So kind of picked up Gilman to play deep safety, so they can kind of weaponize him there. I think you're going to see a lot of nickel for them and a lot of dime too. That's what they did yesterday with bringing Awuzie in. Then you have Hamilton and Marlon Humphrey playing in the slot on both sides. So
If they can just turn him loose, it's exactly what we said. Turn him loose, make him the guy in the box.
he's your best player.
He's your best player. Make him affect every snap. Don't. The further away he moves from the ball, the easier it is to work around him.
Yep.
And when he's down in there, and you saw him on third down, I mentioned that play because I swear to you, go watch that play. It's one of the single most athletic plays I see on the field on a Sunday. Is this guy coming from depth, picking a guard, which is usually the job of a linebacker in a pressure like that. And then beating everybody else to Caleb Williams. He speeds up off of Joe Thuney. It's crazy to see him work down in there. So
I love it. I absolutely love it. And they're going to need more of it because this is where they currently stand. Look at where the AFC North, the once proud AFC North from a defensive standpoint, Cleveland excluded, stands entering week 9. This is insane. The Ravens have the 28th ranked defense. Pittsburgh 30th. And Cincinnati is dead last. And just coughed up 23 fourth quarter points to the Jets, the winless at the time Jets. So a long way to go. Perhaps the graphic that we'll start to see is before and after week 7. Not to be confused with what took place last year, right? The comparison game was weeks 1 through 10 versus 11 through 18. And perhaps this year, again, it'll be weeks 1 through 7. Or was it 7? Let's see. Week 8, technically. Wait a second. Hold on a second. We're going into week 9. That means week 8. Wait a second. Week 8 was the bye, right? Week 7 was the Rams. Okay, so it'll be weeks 1 through 6. If the defense, and it's a big if they start to turn the tide here, it'll be weeks 1 through 6, pre-Alohi acquisition, and then 7 through the rest of the way, 7 through 18, post-Alohi acquisition. You guys follow me on that one? We'll see. We'll see what happens. To the guest lines we go. They're cooking right now, including the new Ravens head coach. New Ravens head coach? I don't know, man. The way they're going, you're going to have to wait a long time there, Manny, down in Mexico. But Torres was first. I feel like he has a lot to say, so let's bring him in here. He's already talking, matter of fact. I haven't even brought him on yet. Hold on a second. Let's get the 60-second queued up here. Appreciate you guys for being with me tonight. If you could, on the way in, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. Consider becoming a channel member or gift-giving membership today. And Torres, welcome to the program, brother. Talk to me. Oops, wait a second. Let's get you in here. Talk to me.
Yeah, I just want to rap with you real quick, Bobby.
Is it windy
I'm
out
trying-
there? I can't hear a damn thing.
Yeah, a little bit. Hold up, a little bit. Can you hear me? You hear me?
I got you.
Yeah, I just want to rap with you real quick, Bobby. I'm trying to figure out what prompted me to be in timeout, and then all of a sudden I go to comment. I feel like I'm blocked. I'm trying to figure out what's the issue, man. Is it smoke? Like what's going on, Bobby?
So here's the context I have for you. First of all, we didn't know that was your burner earlier, right? That's the second channel that you were talking in the live chat?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, here's the context I have for you, brother. You are currently muted over on the vault. You are currently muted. Unfortunately, we made a show decision. I think you crossed the line over on the vault with some of your commentary, if I'm being straight up. If I'm being straight up with you. If I'm being straight up with you, I think you've crossed the line in recent weeks. It was a show decision to mute you over on the vault. You have full privileges here. This was a show collective decision, and that's just straight. I'm just going to tell you like a man to your face.
All right, the people heard it. That's all right. The people heard it. Y'all know, y'all hear. I ain't tripping. So it is what it is, Bobby.
That's where we're at. That's where we're at. I have an obligation. I have an obligation to the partnership, to the show, to the
Y'all didn't mute Andrew that fast though, right? But you gonna mute me even though I've been a fucking support. I ain't gonna go in, Bobby. It's cool. You got it, bro.
It's a case by case basis. I'm hitting you straight. You have full privileges on this channel, and that's where we're at right now. You got any Ravens takes for us?
I ain't got not near one, Bobby.
All right, brother. Thanks, Torres.
All
Appreciate you. Later, man. Look, I mean, I've never been one to, mislead people or not call a spade, and it is what it is, unfortunately. I don't know what else to say. So hopefully he'll continue to participate in the vault side of things, and he's got full privileges over here. Can still watch the vault, obviously. But it's not a block. It's a mute. And if you've been following some of the commentary on there, I do think that Torres overstepped boundaries. I do. It's not a decision we take lightly. I know I've been on record for saying, in the past that you got to really cross a line to get blocked, and it's not a block. But it is a mute, and I think that there were some things aimed at. Just leave it at that for now. Romy Raven says, why is Torres blocked on the vault, Bobby? And that just got out in front of what we just discussed. I'm glad he called in and asked. He has a right to know. Now he knows. We'll move forward from there. That's where we're at. Guest lines. Dave, you there? If you're not, we'll go down to Mexico. Dave is not there. I'm looking at a brick wall. Manny, talk to me, brother. Your 60 seconds starts now.
Hey, what's up? Well, I'm just getting ready. Tomorrow I leave to Miami. And in person, I'm just going to coach the team. So let's just hope for the best.
Where are you right now?
Oh, right now, I'm in my dad's home. I'm just getting my stuff ready for tomorrow's travel because it's going to be a bitch. You know it.
Nice.
Yeah, so.
Oh, I forgot you're going. I'm sorry. Yeah, God, I'm still kind of. It's not an easy conversation to have, so now my mind's kind of all over the place, and I just tuned out for a second. I forgot you're going to Miami, so safe travels.
Hey, thanks. But hey, I'm gonna see them in person. I'm going to check what's new, how they respond actually, because while they're in commercial, we don't see them how they groove among themselves, if they talk to each other. So I'm going to be there supervising, and if I don't see adequate coaching, like my title says, I'll become the new Ravens head coach.
Enjoy yourself, brother.
All right.
Call in on the pregame show. I look forward to it. Later, man. Appreciate you. Look, a lot of blowback right now in the live chat. Okay. This will be handled, I'm sure, again on the vault. It just so happened that the decision was made. We didn't handle it on the vault today. I'm now live. We have call-ins. I don't deny callers. So Torres came on. He asked about it, and I'm addressing it for the first time, even though it was a collective decision. I'm seeing folks that are asking for second chances and that he was joking. And look, I think it's pretty clear to me that there were lines crossed. And he has full privileges over here. But on the vault, there's a different structure in place. And we agreed together as a partnership that it was the right decision to mute him. And this is taken away from the football content right now, so we got to get back to business. Comments were not related to the Ravens, and that's probably the biggest hint here without specifically mentioning what lines were crossed. It was not anything to do with the Ravens, and that should give you all you need to know. Okay? So, again, this is a muting. This is a muting. This is not a blocking, and it's just went into effect as of, I think, yesterday. So that's where things are at. EB, where you at, bro? EB, welcome to the program. Where the hell are you? You're not here. All right, well, we'll wait for him. Lamar was asked, as Sarah noted a short while ago, if it's true that he was the one who wanted the games out of the locker room. And what do you think he said? First and foremost, this is what Marlon Humphrey said on his podcast. I didn't believe him to begin with.
I was actually a player change, believe it or not, by somebody. I don't know if they put that out there, but yeah. So, so fun locker room to a not as fun. Talk to your locker mate. Fun locker room.
Connect. Let's figure this out.
Yeah,
locker room.
We don't need no games up in here. Only games we need to play is out there on the grass, and we need to win them. So
that's for sure.
Small change. Obviously, did that really do anything? Who knows? But we're 1-0 moving forward. Bow.
We want to know. We don't know if you want to leak the news. I don't know what player. Let's not. Maybe we get into some controversy there.
If I leak the player, it's one of the best players on our team.
Could be you. Could be you.
Top 2 player best on our team. Lamar
Could
Jackson.
Be you.
Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson.
All right.
He said, "Man, we having too much fun up here. Get this stuff out of here." So he got it out. And
Shout out to QB, man.
shout out to QB, man. Let's go. Let's roll. Let's roll.
Yeah, man.
Let's roll.
Taking a little leadership role.
All right, I stand corrected. When it comes to Marlon Humphrey, I always take things with a grain of salt, as maybe a lot of us can relate to. But then Lamar himself got up at the podium earlier this afternoon and confirmed that it was him that texted the equipment manager. So I stand corrected. That'll be interesting and fun, I'm sure, on the vault to go and relive and revisit this tomorrow. But again, this was a Lamar decision. I commend him for making it. Obviously, this was totally blown out of proportion, but something that probably needed to be done. And if Lamar thought it had to be done, then there you go. It had to be done. Maybe the biggest non-story. And there's a lot of people that owe John Harbaugh certainly an apology, but maybe the biggest non-story there's been in recent memories. Reality is that's what happens when you're 2-5, previously 1-5, and now the Ravens obviously got to keep things in-house. Keep things in-house as you dig yourself out of this hole and try to become the 5th team since 2020 to make the playoffs after starting 2-5. Guest lines are open. Dave, if you're there, you were first. I got EB waiting as well. Dave, give me a thumbs up if you're ready. I'm not seeing a clear screen, so we'll go to EB first, who is currently looks to be behind the wheel. So you travel safe out there for me, EB. Talk to me. What's up, brother?
What's going on, Bobby? What's going on, man? Far as that Marlowe video, I ain't got really too much to say about that. I mean, I'm glad it was Lamar and not the coaching staff, because if it was, then it would be a different story. But to move on from that, back to this trade talk. My 3 candidates is Zeitler, Jordan, Cam Jordan, and Quentin Williams, if he really is on the market. EDC he needs to pull the trigger on that. If it's a second round, go ahead and give it up, man. Just go ahead and give it up. I'm gonna go back to the Todd Monken situation. Like, he's not that video that you pulled up. That video that you pulled up, that should have me dying, because he sound like a Baltimorean saying that. I ain't gonna lie, that actually had me dying laughing. Now, I didn't like the bleep version on the vote, but that's all right. And speaking, you feel? I like the, you feel like the original version. And far as the
Shit's funny, man. Well, let's give you the original version then. I know you want it. You want the original version, so let's pull that up for the big dog EB. Just because you're working your tail off out there and you enjoy a little, you deserve a little Tuesday afternoon laugh. So here, let's run it back.
I'm their muscle. Taking a lot of fucking flack. Fuck them motherfuckers. Let's go. Yeah, I believe in you. Yeah, I gave you a chance.
Run that thing back.
Taking a lot of fucking flack. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like the fire, I like the tenacity, man. We need more of that. We definitely need more of that. And like I said, he is not the problem. He's definitely not the problem. Last thing I'm gonna say is, false attention on the vote. Well, I'm usually one of those guys that's in the background, may throw in a super chat here and there, but I'm gonna definitely keep it PG-13, because that sounded a little intensifying, but it's definitely understandable from the business side and far as overall. So I definitely get it, Bobby. But
we don't take it lightly, and it's not the last time we'll address it too as a show. Sarah and I are probably going to want to address it together at some point here soon. So more to come on that. Appreciate you, EB. Stay safe out there.
Yeah, definitely. Hashtag new head coach 2026, man. I'm still on that. I'm still rocking that out. Even if we go all the way.
Thanks, EB. Even if we go all the way. What the hell? That shit's hilarious. Trey Dog says, Bobby, can you please have the full conversation as to what he said so that anybody else in the future doesn't get muted? It only makes sense. I think Sarah and I will have a chance to chat about how we want to address it over on the vault, because that's really, chronologically or timing wise, this is just how it worked out, right? I have waiting rooms, I have guest call-in options. The vault does not. At least typically it does not. And the way that things worked out, I'm obviously addressing it for the first time on this channel, but it has nothing to do with this channel. It has everything to do with the vault. So, yes, it needs to be addressed on the vault. It needs to also be decided on in collective fashion between Sarah and I in terms of how we'd like to do that. So, I'm sure she's going to watch this episode. If she doesn't, I'm going to mention it to her already. We've already had at least one conversation on it. We'll have more. So appreciate you, Jay. Dave, are you there? Where are you at? Dave, let's give you a chance at audio only, shall we? Dave, you there, brother?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Let's do it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's going on, man? 60 seconds starts now.
No, take that damn thing off there. Hey, I would did everything I could to get this camera to work. That's fucked up because you know how good looking I am. So look. Hey.
Oh my God, David Cure. What are you doing?
You like
what
that?
The hell are you
like
doing?
that? So hey, two things. One, just the vault issue with that fellow who has been dismissed. I can't believe I haven't done enough to get dismissed over there. But I just very it's great that you're going to address it over there because that is a vault issue. It's not your issue, and it's just sad that the content, the goofiness that has to be played over at the vault. That you can't drop you can't even say the word shit, which is kind of just really fucking strange. Just so you know that, dude, it's really strange, and everyone sees it as strange as it is. So, okay, that's all I have to say about that. The other thing is that, I'm a Harbaugh hater forever. And it's just really sad that EDC and Harbaugh have done nothing to address in the last couple of weeks. We had the bye, did nothing to address to bring in some defensive pass rush. I mean, it's really bad. We will not beat a good team without bringing in some other better talent. And it's just the way it is.
Dave, good to hear from you. Hope your camera's on next time. I miss seeing that face and appreciate you weighing in. Dave?
Yeah, you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'll talk to you soon, man.
That's all you got?
Well, you didn't answer.
What's your thoughts on EDC and Harbaugh? I want to come back on that. I mean, we need some freaking talent, dude.
I mean, I spent the first 30 minutes on that shit. You know that I agree with you.
I just showed up here 5 minutes ago.
Listen.
I can't be on your timeline. I got my own shit I'm doing.
Hey, you're on my time. You hear me?
I know. I'm giving you 5 minutes of mine.
Listen, your ass just thinks you can ignore the new rule that's in place, huh? 60-second timeline?
Yeah, I ignore it. I ignore all fucking rules. You do that when you're retired.
You crack me up. You really do. Look. Yes, obviously. They got to go win on Thursday night first and foremost. A week from now, the deadline will have came and went. It's 4:00 Eastern on November 4th.
Yep.
I spent the first 30 minutes getting into Jeff's latest, which we're going to talk about tonight on The Athletic. He broke things down into different categories: right player, right price, keep dreaming, and then like an option of like, hey, would this be enough of an upgrade? And so two former Ravens, as you see right here on the graphic, made that list of right player, right price. One of whom, yes, they're both over 30. Yes, they're both on the back nines of their career. But quite frankly, the Ravens could use help, whether it's somebody that's just getting their career started and that's been overlooked or has been banged up and maybe is healthy now or just isn't the right fit. Doesn't matter what it is. They need it. And Calais Campbell and Kevin Zeitler made Jeff's list in terms of right player, right price. So, David, what do they got to do first? They got to go find a way to win on Thursday night. And then DeCosta and company can act accordingly from there.
Gotcha. Thanks for the time, Bobby.
You too, man. Thanks for the call, dude. Appreciate you. Maurice, welcome inside the channel. Your 60 seconds. Boy, you took about quadruple that last time, didn't you? I let you get away with it, didn't I? Welcome back, my man. 60 seconds starts now. Talk to us.
All right. I'd like to shift the conversation back to the potential trade targets. So, yeah, I would say we should probably go out there and get Kevin Zeitler. It's like we need to emphasize bolstering up our offensive line. It's like if you're running an organization, what should be on top of your list, priority number one should be bolstering your offensive line. So you got to protect your quarterback at all costs. So who I have at the top of my list, Kevin Zeitler is one, and for the defensive line, I would have Quentin Williams as trade target number two. It's like, if you notice the trend with this organization over the last 30 years, we have quite a handful of success in terms of bringing in veteran pass rushers. For example, when we signed Malcolm McCrary, in free agency. He came over from Seattle. Tony Siragusa from Indy. So we should keep the trend going. Yeah, don't you agree?
Yeah, you know it. You already know it, and they're going to need to. 1 week out, brother. 1 week out from the deadline. Appreciate you, man.
All right, no problem.
Catch up with you. Maurice, good stuff as always. I know he wanted that quadruple 60. Nah, it's all in good fun. I appreciate when you guys call in. I appreciate you guys for being with me tonight. 2 hours out from the collective. I got to get dinner, take care of Tilly, and this will be revisited. I know there's a lot of commentary going on in the live chat. This will be revisited. All right. It just so happened to work out. This was addressed first on this channel. It has nothing to do with this channel. It's on the vault, and that's where we're at. So I see a lot of commentary in there right now. I appreciate your interest in it. More to come. All right. Please like the video on your way out. Subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Hope you guys got something out of this. Join us tonight on the collective. If you haven't already done so, would love for you to subscribe to the collective. 8 o'clock Eastern on Tuesdays. Jeff Zaribek, Cole Jackson, and myself. Look forward to seeing you guys tonight. Going to be a lot to get into and a lot coming up on Thursday night with the Ravens. Still that razor thin margin for error. Got to keep this train moving in the right direction. Primetime football down in Miami coming up on Thursday. Thanks, guys. Catch up with you soon. I appreciate you all for caring.